Great. So my daughter actually did the packet through the courthouse and did not get legal representation. And now she did not get her name off the property. So the ex-husband has twice now almost gone into foreclosure, and it's affecting her credit. What can she do?
Great question, Lisa. Stan?
Yes, the first thing you do is whatever you filled out with the court, make a copy of it and take it to see a divorce lawyer, okay? Because if you've already got a court order granting you a divorce, all those little checklist things, some of which we went through earlier, they're in there or they're not in there. And the devil is in those details. If it's not in there and disposed of as a court order, then you may or may not still be obligated for whatever financial institution you signed on with for a loan or a mortgage. And we kind of touched on this earlier, but the physical document itself, whatever's been signed and filed with the court, get a copy of it, take it to see a divorce lawyer, let that divorce lawyer give you some suggestions or advice. Are there children involved? That would be a major question I would ask right up front. Are there any kids in this family? Lisa?
Do we still have Lisa on?
Is Lisa still with us?
We do, yes. There are children.
Are there children?
No, sir, no children.
No kids. Okay, so the only asset is the home? Is that what you're telling me?
Correct.
And no spouse offered to either buy out or get a refinance loan and buy out the other spouse?
That was never discussed.
Never discussed. Imagine that. Well, that would have been one of the first things I, as a divorce lawyer, would have suggested, because somebody's going to be on the hook. And as far as the bank is concerned, both of them are on the hook. If one of them passed away, the bank's going to go after the one that survives. That's why there's two people in there. This is why when young couples want to buy a home and they want to spend $200,000 for a beginning home, they get their mama or their daddy to come co-sign with them so that somebody's on the hook to pay it off. If the young person is unable through poor job income or whatever to pay the freight, they've got the grandmother or the grandfather behind all that to sign off and cover the amount of money.
Right, because the most important thing here at the end of the day is the bank doesn't care what either person has agreed to. There's a prior agreement that it was going to get paid. So your only potential avenue of recovery here is to hopefully go and seek potentially some redress if it was covered by the family law order, and try to seek some sort of order compelling one side or the other to do something. But like Stan says, you need to have them reach out to someone quickly, because the bank is not going to stop, and the bank is going to try to get repaid under any avenue that they have available to them. So until and unless one of the parties steps up to make sure and make that whole, either through refinancing, selling, or simply paying off the debt, it's going to be problematic, and time is of the essence. So I would recommend dealing with that sooner rather than later.
You do need to know that judges do retain jurisdiction, and it's usually like the last sentence right before the judge signs his name or her name. That sentence is magical. It says, I retain jurisdiction for purposes of this case in any future activity. There's a phrase in there that basically is a jurisdictional statement phrase that says, if y'all have change in circumstances later, come back to see me and we'll talk about it. But it doesn't say what they're going to do for you. Right. It just says, I retain jurisdiction over this case. And that's an important part to allow you to go back in for a modification here.